Thank you for having me so much. I'm sorry for the awkward for the awkward reply, but yes, no, thank you so much for having me. It's super duper. I'm really glad to be here. Honestly, it's we've had a really good campaign so far, and like honestly, it's been because of folks like you reaching out to me and kind of just sharing their love for Scion and letting me know that like it's a book that they actually care about because us indie folks sometimes we don't know. So thank you so much for having me on your stream today. It really means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Fingerboards could be kind of fun. I'm not gonna like some tech decks, like tech decks. Yeah, okay. I get the vibe. I get the vibe. That could be hard, bro. That'd be hard, man. That'd be sick. I like both of those. Like both of those. I also think possibly the issue one cover, like the cover A. Like if we were to do like the if you were to go like a like long like a like landscape, yeah, and it's like that could be kind of hard too. That could be hard, bro. That could be hard. That could be hard. All right, yeah. For sure, I can do that. I can do that. So, like Mr. Claw was saying, I'm Mark, and this is my debut comic book, Scion. It is a supernatural thriller set on a college campus. Follows this young criminology major, John, who is caught in a conspiracy. There's some strange people that are offering charity on campus, and he is the only person skeptical. Think Sherlock Holmes, but with some supernatural themes in the background. it was a it was a process trying to come up with this book. It very much was an idea that kind of endured over a long time. I didn't necessarily go to school for writing. I went to school for engineering, and when I graduated, Jonathan Hickman had the nerve to drop House and Powers of 10 pretty much the week I was graduating, right? And I read those comic books and wondered, man, did I go to school for the wrong thing? I could be doing something cooler than engineering. Like, come on, what is this, right? After I went to school to learn how to build robots, suddenly it's like, man, but comic book robots, a lot cooler than these robots out here trying to take over the world. No, I'm just kidding. But it was an idea that birthed from my education, my love for a lot of different types of art and media, and me kind of having a bit of a longing in my professional life after I graduated. I kind of graduated college and kind of was wondering like what's next. And I'd finally been able to save up a little bit of money, not a lot, but like enough to maybe like start like a small business. And I decided that like I wanted to kind of just like get into comics. I always loved comic books. I had a story that I wanted to do, and I figured that like if I really tried, like if I took it serious, like as serious as I took my degree or if I took my job, that like maybe it could be something that like I really really care about because I really care about comics. And I really wanted to make PSION because I went to an HBCU. I went to Jackson State in Jackson, Mississippi. Shouts out to everybody in the SIP. The SIP deserves everything. I'm not from Mississippi, but I'm from Louisiana. I'm from the state over. So it's a loving relationship in kind of like the brother sister way where Mississippi and Louisiana definitely love one another, but it's a bit strained. And I I love the fact that I was able to kind of find a home and education in Mississippi, especially after having to kind of drop out for financial reasons before. So I kind of came back, wanted to kind of get my degree, kind of dip out, and what I found was that like I really kind of found like this ecosystem that really like wanted to like shepherd me in and turn me into something better. It wasn't just about trying to collect my tuition money or trying to turn me out to the wider industry after kind of like only giving me 4 years to kind of cook, right? They really let me kind of just dig my feet in, and because I got that confidence and because I was able to kind of go from a PWI to an HBCU and have this drastic change in my own personal confidence in the process, I wanted to put that in a comic book. I wanted that to exist in a book for people to be able to engage with and to be able to kind of like sample and have like in their hands to be able to engage with. And um I know it's probably out there. I know that there's a bunch of comic books out there. It's probably impossible that before I was the first person to write a comic book set on an HBCU. But I hadn't seen it before. And because I had exactly. Yeah. Nice. Nice, nice. Heck yeah, no, that means a lot. That means a lot because it was those three properties definitely I think embody not just what I think the tone and like the style and the themes that we have in Scion are, but also just my literal personal inspiration for the series. I love all three of those properties. I grew up on Yu Yu Hakusho. It's definitely my favorite, my personal favorite anime. Yeah, I don't think it's the best, but I do think it is one of the most well-rounded. And I think that if I was to tell people my personal favorite, like it's definitely number one at the top of the list, just de facto. But I also I feel very similarly about Heroes. Now I don't think Heroes is nearly as well rounded, but I do think that it was very very much that impactful for me growing up. There was a time where I really couldn't convince anyone around me to really take superheroes seriously, and then suddenly there was a show that kind of removed the capes element, and suddenly people could kind of wrap their heads around it, and like that kind of intrigued me as a kid, right? And obviously Tim Sale's artwork, being the artwork behind Isaac Mendez, like that was really cool. I loved all of that. It really helped me kind of like see that there was like this world of comics working beneath the scenes for this show. And obviously Jeff Loeb being like one of like the executive directors for it. So it was like this like, you know, essentially they got the Batman Long Halloween team working on this show to make sure that they don't really stray too far away from what like the comic element of this show needs to be. So that was really important. But obviously, that's a lot of we got demons, demon world over in Yu Yu Hakusho. We got like Siler serial killers over in Heroes. Now we got to lighten this up with some slice of life element. And like you know, being an HBCU, it just felt the most natural to go to a different world, especially because I really wanted to. I wanted to build on I wanted to be more than just the show. I'm sorry, the story being more than just um an analog for what life on an HBCU is like. That needs to be a part of the story, but I didn't want that to be like the beginning and the end. I think that when you have a television show, you can get away with doing that because you need to have a very clear draw for everyone to kind of wrap their heads around. But I think that one of the beautiful things about comics is that you kind of get to throw the whole kitchen sink at it sometimes as long as you like write everything correctly. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to be as maximalist as we can. We want to throw in all the themes that we think that this story needs because I don't want to be a person that kind of retreads on similar themes with another series. Like I want to try to be like Alan Moore in that regard where I'm trying to do different things with different series and letting like one specific property kind of embody my opinions on a particular genre, like a particular style. And like Scion, that for me was like Southern Gothic. Like I'm from Louisiana. I'm a Creole from Cane River, from North Louisiana. Like my folks are. We've been in Louisiana, I think, since like the late 18. I mean, sorry, the late 1700s. So we're talking about folks who've been in Louisiana for a really, really, really long time. And there's a story to be told in the South. There's definitely a story to be told. Shouts out to Outkast. Shouts out to Three Stacks because the South definitely does have a story to tell. And I, mhm, yeah, primo. Oh yeah. I haven't read them, but I do know what you speak of. Yes. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It was a question that we wanted the theme of this book to revolve around questioning corporate, right? And that's going to evolve over time. Right now, the theme, we're definitely burying the lead right now. We want people for like the first two issues, we want to kind of just get people on the bus, right? But with issue three, because that's going to be that's going to be the end of our first arc, right? Because we're doing 9 issues for the first season. So this will be our those will be like the last issue before we'll do like sorry, issue three will be the last issue we do before we'll do a trade. So it's we're pretty much trying to get people wet to the idea of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people, interested, let them know what the themes are. But we're definitely burying the lead right now, and I definitely want folks to know that Medici is a very big part of this story. They're definitely the villain of this story, and it's about trying to find how do we reconcile our place as individuals in a world of like corporate giants, right? That definitely constantly overstep, constantly overreach, and treat our lives as nothing more than just means to an end for whatever their goals are. So if we get something out of it, why? Why did we? And like that's the question I want to ask. And I want to frame that from the history of just of bigotry and institutionalized racism that was done against the black community, specifically in the medical field. I wanted to lean on my medical background as a biomedical engineer. I wanted to talk about the history of medical racism that's very much there and how pretty much very much relevant to this day. It's not just something that exists in the past. It's not just excuse me, the Tuskegee experiment. Excuse me, I don't know why I got tongue tied there. Right? I said Tuskegee, and that's immediately turned into Junior. But I got there eventually, though. At least I got there today. But it was a very real. As I got older, I very much understood why the old black men in my life were very afraid of medicine. And it's something that I definitely used to be perplexed by as a child. I used to think, why not just go to the people that can help you? Well, because you don't know if they actually are. And that's the reality of it all. Even a person like myself who knows plenty about science, I can't verify what you're injecting into me like off site alone. It's not happening. There's a lot of this that can be very much used against us whenever they want. And I wanted to talk about the horror that exists for colored individuals, for black individuals, for women, whenever that is something that they're staring down. Because those like those layers are going to stack. Like black women are definitely getting it the worst out of us. So So the medical industry is definitely evolving really fast, and because of for-profit education somewhat changing what the barrier for entry might look like for some individuals, there has been in a lot of instances there being an oversaturation in some fields, but also an undersaturation in other places where you end up with these deserts like where I'm from, right? Because most people who have a degree and an opportunity want to get matched in a larger area to a better hospital. Um, so you end up with folks who, pretty much decide to stay home and be that for their local community so that way they can do it, right? Well, I think that tells a different story on the opposite side of the coin, right? Well, what about the person who has to pick up the slack for their entire community and they kind of had to stay home to figure that out? Are they going to be the person who can rise to the occasion for their community, or did they see enough? Were they able to actually go and get um, the reps in required to be able to service people, because it's a lot more than just giving people medicine. You know what I mean? Like it's we saw that in the pit. I think this last season, Whitaker almost messed up and did a medical racism against that one black woman that they admitted because he didn't notice. I can't remember what it was, but he like was like, oh, but like she's African American, so like she's still within like the tolerance for that. And it took one of the women on staff being like, no, but like, what if she has like a history of like X? Maybe that could like fix that. That could be the problem here. And if they hadn't have caught that, she would have. It would have been really bad. So, like, I think that she like literally went into like I think she started like coding not that long after. So it was a very like we're seeing it in media kind of pop up, and I want to make sure that like I'm focusing on like the right parts of it while also making sure like not to be callous with it, because I want to make sure that if we are putting it into the narrative that it feels right, it feels justified. And I think that I think that I can tell a story of negligence without calling nurses incompetent, if that makes sense, because I do think that there are a lot of good nurses out there, definitely, that are qualified, are educated, that went to good schools, got their reps in, that they are very much needed. Like nurse practitioners are very important. You know what I mean? A nurse practitioner has saved my life in college many a time when I've had food poisoning. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, stuck the needle in my arm, made sure I got the fluids, and like it was a lot cheaper than seeing like an attending. You know what I mean? So I want to admit that where the systemic parts of this fail us and where we as individuals have to pick up the slack and end up somewhat worse off because of it, and then we as a whole are worse off because of it. So I think that that part of it that does exist within this story, and we're kind of in issue 2 we're going to see a little bit of that kind of peel up in the form of John's distrust of just the system in general. He's gone, he accepted this free medicine, and then something's happened, right? The likelihood of him stepping foot in the hospital again, very low, very, very low, right? So what do, right? You call your friend who's pre-med and you say, you better fix me because you recommended all of this, right? So that's very interesting. I never actually thought about it that way, but that is a very, very interesting way. Like Danita's been given a framework for success that she believes exists outside of the current confounds that they exist in. John wants to work within those confounds while still having, a little bit of disbelief for what else could, a little bit of doubt for what else could be out there. Him getting succumbed by that doubt because maybe just a taste of what's out there is not that bad. But now that it's like a rip the band-aid off moment where like you can't really go back after you've done this. Okay, I agree with this. I agree with this. I agree with this assumption. I do. I agree with this. This is a good assessment. Um, I would argue. Sorry. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. We got a Genesis moment in issue 1. I'll take it. I'll take it. I did not. I did not. Well, I definitely can tell you. I can tell you what my main reasoning was, and the main reasoning that I had, I knew that I wanted this first issue to showcase some push and pull for the main characters. I wanted people to feel as though I wanted to showcase their flaw, right? And I was watching KM Weiland's video. She's like she's a writer. She definitely gives it like good writing advice online, and she says that a really good way to expose flaws in your characters is to reveal the lie that they believe in. And I think that we really find out both with the scene with Medici in the classroom at the end of the lecture, and then also again with the unhoused man outside of Coffee Co. I think that with both of those scenes together, we get to fully showcase both John and Danita's flaw. Like, what is the lie that both of these individuals believe? And for John, it's the lie that he believes is that you can have contempt for the system and still operate within it. He believes that as long as he's being critical, has the typical disdain for white women, that it's gonna be that easy. That it's that easy. Checkmate. You didn't get me. I'm not a bunny hopper. Give me my good job, please. Right? It's not that simple. It's genuinely not that simple. You saw through the first trick. Guess what? They still got you. And like that's a big thing. Is that like the lie he believes is that he could actually be a part of the system and make change happen without becoming what's already happening in front of him. And for Danita, she believes that the system actually works. And it specifically works if you work it. They're like on opposite sides of the same coin, where John wants to kind of like, throw up his fist at the system while still following the rules. Danita believes in the rules. She thinks that they're there for a reason and that they are specifically meant to help you get by. And we see that clearly with the unhoused man, because they have very different interpretations as to what they should do to try and help this individual or to just get past this individual. John's willing, he a man who's willing to throw his fist up to the system is willing to also use that same fist to reach in his pocket to give $1 to his fellow man. Danita, on the other hand, is willing to conform to the system and immediately blame the man in front of her for not following the rules and being better off. And I think that that's what I wanted them to both have something on one another. And I want it to be disproportionate. Like, I don't think that John should feel nearly as bad for judging Jennifer as much as Danita feels like a lack of sorrow for giving this man $1. You know what I mean? Like, like swatting your homeboy's hand while his hand's in his pocket is crazy. Like, I'm sorry. So it's nuts. So I really want for I want for Gibbs Green, our college in our story, to be an alma mater in like the truest sense. I want it to be a nourishing mother to these growing adults. And I want for when I want for campus to represent safety in that regard. And while I do see a lot out happening right now where we are seeing folks trying it, they're trying it on HBCU campuses. The folks are setting up and they're trying it. Um, a lot of us are kicking them off the campuses. We're running them off campus. You feel me? And oh yeah, oh yeah. And I would want to. I would want to showcase that side of it. I'd want it to be very much. I can think of a scene where I have something similar to that kind of cooking up in an issue coming up soon. But it's I want to make sure, like I said before, that like whenever we decide to take shots at what's happening outside, that it's because our narrative is reflecting what we're going through. So I want to make sure that they're at the part in the story where like that type of because the campus is a character in and of itself. Once the campus has decided to start chewing up and spitting people out, that I want that to be indicative of something that was done to them. So I want to make sure that we let the story build and let transgressions happen against the campus to the point where they get to say enough is enough and they get to have that roll up your sleeves moment and kind of throw them out the front door like Uncle Phil. So we're gonna get to it, but we're gonna take our time getting there. So that way it really feels right. Yes, yes, we're gonna have hopefully to everybody by like the first couple weeks of September, hopefully August if it's a little bit earlier, but it's gonna depend on those enamel pins. Which like if you know anything about enamel pins or the shipping to get over here can take a little while. But we're gonna figure it out. I found somebody that's local, so it hopefully shouldn't take too long. But there is a good bit of production time between issues just because we are a small press, and because of that, money is very much the limiting factor. If we had a bunch of money to where I could just tell Che, hey man, quit your job for about like 2 years so we can pop this out and go like, every quarter, that would be incredible. I'd love to be able to put 4 comics out a year. That would be great. What I'm working at right now is moving up to hopefully being able to do 2 comics a year. Now, I'm not going to promise that yet. What I'm going to promise is you're going to at least get something from me every year. So that way you're not going without PSION for longer than a year like you had to with issue 2. I ended up losing my job right as we were launching this book. So the capital that I kind of stacked up to start everything very much depleted, and it became me kind of going to cons and like building the business up that way to be able to get things funded. So the fact that issue 2, yes, yes, oh dude, it was awesome, right, right. Oh, so this is a good one. Thank you. It's a good one to bring up. Definitely thank you for reminding me about it. So yes, I got to attend Phoenix Fan Fusion this last weekend. It is the biggest premier con in my city because I live currently now in Phoenix, Arizona. I moved out here for a job after college, and it is a very large con. They usually expect anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 people. I think that they definitely got to 100,000 people this year because they had insane lines, and it was a really really fun con, but I didn't know I was actually supposed to be there. I was unable to get a table before they all sold out because the tables at Fan Fusion are a little bit expensive compared to normal tables. They're around like 650 or 680, which is a lot, especially for a small press table. I'm usually used to tables being around like 350. So I was unable to get one before they sold out. I was going to split one with a buddy and be like, okay, well, for split one, it's almost 350. That idea didn't pan out. But a buddy of mine, Sean DeMumbrum, shouts out to Sean, man. He hit me up and he told me, "Hey, man, are you going to be at Fan Fusion in a couple weeks?" And I was like, "No, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a table. We're gonna hope to try and get one for next year. But this year, unfortunately, we're not able to make it." And he gave me a person, Jim Smith. He told me, "Hit up Jim, man. Hit up Jim. Tell him that like you're a creator. Show him your portfolio and just let them know that like if they have anybody that kind of drops out last second, or if they have any local creator role like spots, just like I'm here, I'm available. I can show up if you have it, right?" Well, I email that guy, and about like a week goes by, and he hits me back up, and he's like, "Hey, I may be able to get you a guest pass if you can get me a bio and 4 samples of art, right? And a headshot." I was like, "Done." An hour later, I had that submitted, right? 'Cause I was like, "I need to get that turned in now." And I didn't hear anything back for over a week, and I was like, "Okay, things happen. He's probably super busy, and these things happen. Like I understand. Sometimes things face pops up, sometimes it doesn't, and it's okay. This is business. It's a lot more polite to just probably not hear anything back than for them to like be like, 'Hey man, day of, you can't fucking come in.' By the way, no, sorry, excuse my French. Excuse me, over here cussing, over here cussing. But yeah, no, it was me kind of being like, you know what? It's okay if Fan Fusion passes us up again. It's all right. We'll try again next year. Thursday comes around, like pre-set up. I see my friends setting up. I'm like, a little bit of FOMO. We'll get through it. We'll get through it, right? We have the Kickstarter. We can promote that. We'll get through it. And then on Friday, the first day of the con, at about 3 p.m., I'm going to drop off an order at the post office, and I'm about to go take my girlfriend to go pick up some food, right? I get a message from a homie on Insta, a follower. His name's Frankie. Shouts out to Frankie. Frankie messaged me. He's like, "Hey, man, are you going to be at Fan Fusion this weekend? I walked around to try and find you, but I didn't see you anywhere." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I wasn't able to make it. I wasn't able to get tables before they sold out. And it's a little bit of a bummer, but I'll be there maybe next year." And he goes, "But you're on the website." What? I told my girlfriend, I was like, "Can you read this to make sure I'm not like tweaking?" And she read it, and she's like, pulls out her phone, immediately goes to the website, goes to Comic Creator, scrolls down maybe a scroll and a half. And I'm apparently right there, dude. Like, I'm like, what the frick? Like a couple underneath J photos, dude. I'm like, what the heck? So I immediately went to that email that I found that with Jim, and luckily Jim put his phone number in the signature. Shouts out to professionalism, right? Because I grabbed that phone number immediately, shot him a text message, be like, "Hey man, this is Mark Bandy, Crimson Sleeper Studios. Are we supposed to be there this weekend?" And it took him maybe a minute to text back. He was like, "Oh yeah, man, we got a spot for you." Bro, I told him, "All right, bet I'll be there for 5." I found out at 3. Told him I'll be there for 5, and my house was set up. I was there, ready to go, had a TikTok and everything. All right, it was hey, hey, let's go, let's go. All right, right now. I'm gonna get that. And make sure you put that on reserve because I need it. Hell yeah. So it was a great weekend. We got to table next to some really great people. I was across from Stranger Comics, and I got to be booth buddies right next to Tahani Farr. I've been a very big fan of her work for a very long time. She does everything traditionally, which is extremely impressive in a digital age. And I've always just really enjoyed like her colors and like just like the fact that she likes to get her hands like dirty and like into the medium. She's definitely like a true artist in that regard. So like kind of getting to like, but she's very friendly too. That was the crazy part. Like she wasn't somebody that's like, like when you think about a master artist, you definitely think about someone that's maybe a little bit more like reserved or like, not necessarily like the easiest to be able to talk to. And like English is her second language, and she was very bright, lively, and it was very fun to get to talk to her. Both her and her agent Kay were like super cool. So like getting to be booth buddies next to them was super cool. They brought in a bunch of natural traffic, which was super nice for your boy because I got to kind of talk to people in line while they were talking to people. So it was like a nice little symbiotic relationship. It worked well. She wouldn't even let me pay for postcards. Like she just like signed. She's like, take three. I'm signing them. And I'm not making you pay. I'm like, all right, that's super sick. So she was super cool. I got to make some really good sales that weekend. Definitely I didn't throw up any goose eggs, which is nice. Like you never want to throw up a goose egg one day, right? So that was good. I got to network with a bunch of good people. I got to talk to folks like my good buddy over at Wiseacre Comics, Frederick Littles. Mr. Littles is a great creator. He's got a bunch of great books. I've been trying to talk to him about a pitch that I have, so I was kind of talking to him about that when he came to come talk to Tahani. I got to kind of just talk a little bit with Chris Claremont, which was super duper cool. Like as a Louisianian, I got to kind of thank him for Gambit and Rogue. I knew my mama would kill me if I didn't. So I had to go thank him for the Raging Cajun, right? For the King of Thieves. So I went and thanked him for that because I know where Gambit stay. All right, I can name the street and the road in Acadiana where that boy stay. So I had to thank him for that, right? And I I would argue the highlight as far as like getting the network and talk to people. I got to freaking talk to Christopher Priest, dude. Um, I got to talk to freaking the dude who made Black Panther badass for the modern era. And he was super cool. He filled my cup up a bunch. I got to kind of just thank him for like being who he is for comics. And I also got to give him a digital copy of Scion, which was super cool. Now, if he's gonna get around to reading it, he's a busy man. I get that. Sometimes you just gotta take it and be like, "All right, I got the crazy fan up out of here." You know what I mean? But very, very thankful that I've got to talk to him. I got to shake his hand. That means a lot to me, as you can tell with the first issue of Scion. So I take handshakes seriously. Um, so it was a very, very good con. It filled my cup up in multiple ways, and it felt good to be in a room full of a bunch of people that 3 years ago, when Scion was just a budding idea, the LLC was newly minted. I was out there just passing business cards out, right? It was cool to kind of think about the growth involved with all of that and how, like, it's very much a very lucky thing. I doubt I could make this reproduce year end on year end, right? The idea of being invited as a guest last second. But the fact that it happened and the fact that it's happened for me on this timeline, it's definitely put a battery in my back and makes me want to work a lot harder. So that way I can make opportunities like that something that is something for me, and that's consistent for me in the future later on. So uh, it's cool. Okay, I've been thinking on it. I've been thinking on it. I've been thinking on it. It's gonna be hard. I can't say anything yet. What I will say is this, though. What I will say is this: it will be a woman. It will be a woman. I will say that because I already know what I want to do for the variant cover. I've been thinking about it for a minute, and it's gonna be It's gonna be a Jet magazine homage. So, yeah, yeah. So I wanna make sure we get a black woman who's fire as hell. Yeah, you are, yeah, you all right, that's where we go. There we go. There we go. All right, there we go. I was worried maybe people wouldn't vibe with, but okay. All right now. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, that could be so fire. Oh, dude, getting a table for Essence could be crazy. I should actually I should see if I know anybody back home who might. Because the back home's so small. You know what I mean? Like if I make enough phone calls, I feel like 6 degrees of separation, maybe I can get somebody's email. That might not be the crate. That I'm gonna write that down. Thank you for saying that. Essence Fest. That would go crazy. Now I gotta hope that the aunties don't call me no demon, right? Because I got these folks fighting at the crossroads, right? But I think we can find our market. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be if Kendrick show up again, we'll be all right. I hope so, dude. I hope so. And we want to be respectful too. That's the other thing. We want to be respectful. We're not trying to do like page 42. We ain't trying to do page 42. We're trying to do the front cover. You feel me? We're trying to be respectful. We want to showcase, like we want to be respectful in the term of what the beauty of the week is. You feel me? And like there's an at we're trying to elevate the issue 3 is gonna be very important. As far I'll also give another spoiler. There's a woman that is already in our universe, but she is about to make a larger splash, make herself more known. Um, and she is going to definitely be a match. She's gonna definitely push John to his limit. And she's gonna definitely make her full introduction in issue 3. So like it's gonna be like her like crowning moment to kind of just be like the front cover magazine woman of our comic book, if that makes sense. Like she's our leading lady, if that makes sense. It's definitely on the list. It's on the list for sure. For sure, for sure. I definitely agree. And like it's on the list for next year. I want to try to get down there. There's also I think they do it in Houston, right? Like yeah, I'm trying to go to the South. I haven't been to the South of this book yet. So I wanna the South that's what this book was for. So I want to go and get I want an opportunity to go back home and sell this book. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I love a tag fighter. I love a tag fighter. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, but there's some people waiting 2 years now. I gotta get them this story, bro. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. 48 page full color. So our variant cover is drawn by DC Comics phenom Nicholas Draper Ivey, the writer and one of the big people who brought back Static back in this past run, but also one of the writers for the recent Dakota incident over at DC. He is multi-talented. He writes really good writing. I'm sorry, he writes really good words. Excuse me, and he also draws really good pictures. So when you put both of them together, absolutely incredible comic books, and it was insane because he's my personal favorite artist. When I got back into comics, I bought every single one of the Milestone Returns books. They were coming out around the same time. And Nicholas's artwork always blew me away. And whenever I was kind of drafting the feel and the look of what Scion needed to be, I remember kind of walking into the comic book shop one day and seeing him drawing Static, and I was like, I remember I told Che, I was like, it needs to be something like this, dude. Like we gotta be cooking like this hard. Like it needs to be like this, or like we're not going hard enough. And like he was like, I agree, bro. Nicholas's work is so sick. And I was like, cool, bet. We're both on the same wave, but stylistically. So like the fact, yeah, it was so it was such a it was a half court shot with one arm, man. I'll be honest. I was at Fan Expo San Francisco. I was tabling with my buddy Don that I do my podcast back in the long box with. Shouts out to Don Mancha. And me and Don, I was taking a break from Don 1 second to go get some books because we were having a bit of a slow day. And I went and talked to the Stephanie Williams. Man, got to meet Stephanie Williams that day. She's the best. And I got to pick up freaking Living Heroes from her, which I don't know if you've read that book yet. It's a Living Single Marvel crossover parody. So if you like a different world, you definitely would love this book because it's a pretty much like the other big '90s black sitcom from the time, Living Single. It's essentially, oh yeah, no, it's essentially one for one. It's so dope, dude. Oh, it literally wouldn't exist. It straight up would not exist. It not only predates it, it was the blueprint for their show, and their whole thing was like, but like, what if they don't have to be black? Like, that was literally the whole thing. It was the whole thing. They said, what if we make white Living Single? Um, so she's amazing. She filled my cup up in different ways. I got to tell her about Scion, got to pick up some books from her. And after kind of like, being in the glow of like one of your favorite writers, you know what I mean? I kind of went back to the table. I was like scrolling through, sales aren't really coming through, so I'm checking on Insta. And Nicholas posted that on his story that like he was going to be focusing on his own original work for a good little considerable future. So he's going to close commissions for a little bit. And he didn't really know when they were going to open back up. And we were already kind of ramping up for Scion issue 2. We knew we needed to kind of get it going and start like really getting the ball down. Like I'd paid for like about half the artwork. Um, so it was like at that point where we need to kind of like consider a variant cover artist, and like getting him would have been insane, right? It was just a number one, like, this is the guy whose artwork really inspired us to kind of understand like what we need to like how serious we need to be whenever we're kind of come out here, right? It'd be incredible to have him actually get to like lend his actual style to this story now, right? Like it would be manifesting it at this point, as the ladies would say. Um, and it was incredible to kind of like when he first responded, I legit had to text my girlfriend and be like, okay, so what do I do now? I didn't think I was gonna get that far, right? Um, she was like, ask him a price, man. Ask him a price. If we could afford it, we're gonna buy it, right? And we could. And we did. And a good little bit of time went by because Nicholas actually forgot. He didn't realize that I'd paid him the first half already. He was like, "Wait, did you pay me already?" I was like, "Yeah, bro. Check PayPal." He's like, "Oh, my bad, bro." That dude had that comic to me in 48 hours after that. Like, he had that page done so fast. Like, he had that cover done so quick. Like, sent me pencils within like 12 or to 18 hours. The cover was done less than 48. So I held on to that for a little bit. Once I had the artwork, paid him, everything's done, right? Because I'd had a bad experience before in the past where like I kind of like gone through the whole process and didn't really get everything and had to like terminate contract. It was a whole thing. Um, but got the artwork. It was secured. It was like real, right? Like I have the tiffs. Like it's here. It's here. It's mine. I paid for it, right? And I remember I just sent Shay a picture. I was like, "Hey, bro, we got Nicholas Draper Ivy for the variant cover," and he's like, "What the hell?" Like he legit called me. He's like, "Are you like kidding me right now?" I was like, "No, dude, that's the artwork. That's it." He's like, "What?" Like so, it was just like it was a crazy moment. Man. It was so crazy. Like it was like Nicholas is incredible. Like Nick, if you see this, thank you so much for being a part of this. Like, thank you for joining the Sign On family. Thank you for like making this a part of your schedule. Because at first when I sent him like the stuff for it, I was like, I was like trying to be super professional. I was like, okay, so give him every little detail that he needs. And it's like he sends me like a message. He's like, oh man, bro, I can't read all this. I was like, all right, bet. Immediately broke that down into like 3 paragraphs. He's like, I can do this. I was like, cool. Let him cook. He cooked so hard. It was so crazy. That'd be hard. That'd be hard. That'd be hard. Ah, ah. That'd be tough, bro. That'd be tough. Hell yeah, hell yeah. If I can make it happen, I'll try. I'll try. If I can make it happen, I can make it reasonably happen, like price wise, I will try. I will try. Hell yeah. Nice. I feel that. I feel that. It'll pair well. It'll pair well. Yeah, I do that too sometimes. It'll go well. Yes, yes. Yeah, well, so I think for 7,500. Yeah, yeah. The one once we get to 8K essentially. Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That sounds awesome. Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. So, if you don't know, DC Blackout was an escalation of an original campaign called DC So White, and DC So White was a campaign that was led by a good number of folks online, spearheaded, I would argue, by Jay Penumbra, Blurb Without Fear, my man Ernie, just to name a few people, and it was a way for black comic book creators and content creators, black comic book content creators. Now, some of these content creators also create comics, but um, it was a way to try and raise visibility about a lack of representation that had currently been going on for a minute at DC. It was essentially a countdown, just essentially a counter since the day that I Am Batman, the last ongoing title at DC in their main continuity that featured a black lead, ended. Which is we're now over 1,200 days. I think we're around like 1,211, I want to say. Um, and the counter on a website I believe started around like 1,000. Like this whole organized campaign began when the counter got to 1,000 days, and it's slowly been organizing and growing and building up into this place where now we have 1,200 plus days since we've had an ongoing title with a black lead in the main continuity, because that does matter. um Minis don't really do much as far as like staying power or brand recognition. We can't count on a mini to give a kid a superhero like a year and a half from now. That's not how that works. Um, no, yeah, no, not at all. Just because it's a one shot. It's just a one shot. It comes, it goes, right? And the whole idea is that we don't want to be here with our money foaming at the mouth for DC to give us something, and then because they've waited so long, they can turn it into this big gangbusters event where we all just kind of show out, buy it, and then they can kind of just move on to the next thing and not have to build a longing, um, a longing legacy for this story. Because they've done that a bunch with us now. Yeah, 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 yeah. It goes it speaks volumes to the lack of voice and agency that Black love has whenever it's shown out wide. It also showcases a lot of the on the opposite foot, the amount of agency that that white individuals have whenever it comes to being able to say the things that we are told we cannot. And that on top of that, they can use the male gaze to somehow force it through or build a justification. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. I would never ever want to take away an opportunity from my brothers and sisters in the LGBTQIA. I would never want to make a world where they're unable to see themselves on a screen, or I am actively trying to say that them having this is incorrect, right? Because I do think that some of those twinges were represented, I think, through the boycott. I think some people saw this boycott starting because it started at the 1200 day, right? DC blackout essentially was an elevation of DC so white. Enough was enough. We're going to boycott DC. But the boycott came right near the beginning of Pride Month. A lot of people saw that as an attack. And I do think that it's a very, very unfortunate that the when black folks say enough is enough, a lot of people will say, could you wait till next week? You know, I really need to get this thing done. And if you do this right now, you might ruin it for everyone else. And I think it's sad that black people are constantly left holding the bag in that regard. When we're just we're trying to vent our frustrations here. We're trying to make sure that outrage doesn't turn into something that's aggressive in the streets. That it isn't rioting and looting. That it is protest and speaking truth to power. And the way you do that is through boycotting. It's unfortunate, especially because I was really hoping that our LGBTQIA brothers and sisters would just join the boycott after Pride Month. I was expecting them to, just hop on the bus a month later. We'll be riding, we'll be spreading the truth, but you can hop on the bus whenever you're ready. I understand that these books are too important because I would argue they're important. You need to go support these books. Dreamer having a book is really important. Anytime, anytime, especially whenever Nicole Maines gets to write it. So, um, that's big. That's big. I wouldn't want to take that from anybody, but it's very unfortunate that they aren't seeing how we are having our things taken from us, and that it's I think it's a worry that the teacher might put you in detention too, and that's what I think a lot of people following the DC so white into the DC blackout were very frustrated about. I think that there was a lot of frustration in that regard. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't even get me started on Barb, bro. Oh my God. She was the paragon of disabled representation. They decided that she needs to start walking again. I don't understand. She's like one of the most important Bat family members, and she does it with the capacity that she has. She found another way to be superhuman again, and we need to. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't know. It's the same with Cyborg, like pretty Cyborg. Yes, 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 yes. Titans too. I think Titans also, but they had her walking in Titans. They had her walking. It's post her being Oracle. So it's you know what I mean? And the same with Cyborg. Pretty Cyborg. Hmm. So it really came down to understanding what um I'm gonna be honest, it really came down to understanding how to interpret this situation in a way that's professional, that respects everyone on the inside that's currently working for DC trying to make change, and then also all the people who stuck their neck out trying to make change on the opposite end. Because it's about as bad as an outcome as could happen. I'll be honest. Having efforts splinter that quickly and for things to be shut down very unceremoniously, it does hurt. And um, if the camp, I think that if the campaign could have kept going, it would have. But because of how much bad publicity was put on it, it just made it forced a lot of people's hands in that regard. And I think that what I wanted to do was not try to purposefully benefit from this. I wanted to give my opinion. I wanted to let everyone know that it is slightly cynical because I do benefit from a boycott of DC. If you're boycotting DC, you're probably more likely to come and buy my book than you would have if you weren't. Um, but I also don't want to sit here and pretend that like you need to come by from me because of what DC's doing. There are so many other creators out here that are making books that are great. If Scion's not what you want, I guarantee you there's a brother out here who has it, or there's a woman out here who has it. And like what that's what I want you to find. I want you to go out here and actively look for it. It's been good. It's been good. It's been good. Like I like the thing, I think off of just that tier alone, the original total we had for the Kickstarter has been funded. So that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. So I oh sorry. I'm gonna try and do a little bit more. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead first. So no, I think that for me personally, I'm always gonna make the total we go for what I think we can get to within about a day or 2 days. Like I want to always have day one be about like a 75% funded deal. So based off how many pre-signups we have, based off of interest, things like that, I probably would go with that run. Now, I guess like ball, I definitely will be asking for more than 2,000 after this last time, just because I want to try and also offer up some different things. Like I want to try to put in like a budget for conventions. If we can have a budget for conventions, that would make it to where we could very easily go and have like 4 cons a year just kind of taken care of by Kickstarter. So that way we can go market the book. People in different areas can go see it. That way we're not just kind of stuck here in the Southwest. Um, but that I would it would be a very very math intensive thing. I would have a second triple quadruple guess myself and check myself all the way, and it would really come down to how much support we're getting from the community. Like if I see that we have like 300 pre-launch signups, 500 pre-launch signups, then yeah, we're gonna try and scale that to how that would look. But I don't want to just be like, yeah, man, so 10 grand. I want y'all to have stretch goals. That's a big thing for this. Like I want it to be like if you because like to be fair, if you find me at a con, the book's $15 there too. You don't have to pay for shipping, but it's $15 there too. But you don't get all these fun goodies. You're not getting 10 stretch goals with your order. You know what I mean? Those are most of these stretch goals we're actually going to turn into SKUs, so that way we can actually sell them on the website after. So you're getting free stuff just for free. Now, it's not everything. We're not selling the coffee. We're not selling the coasters, but things like that, right? And I think that that's I think that that's really what I want. I want it to be where my stretch goals actually feel like something that is a reward back to you and not me just trying to like lap up as much money as possible because I decided to come back outside. I'll make content on TikTok and post there and try to sell books there. Like that's plenty enough for me to be able to kind of get some decent, follow through and throughput. Like I'll be able to keep the lights on, so to speak, by doing that. But I have, but I would argue that I'm a lot better at social media now. I would say that whenever I first started all of this, I was very TikTok. I was very anti TikTok. I did not want to be on TikTok. I tried posting to it for a little bit, and whenever it kind of got annoying for me, I just kind of stopped. And then eventually, I saw a buddy of mine go viral on TikTok, and I was like, man, I want some of that. I want some of that. That'd be cool. That'd be cool to do. Maybe I need to try this TikTok thing again. So I go back on TikTok, I try again, and we make a business specific account. We're not just posting to our personal now. We try to figure out what the TikTok shop is because if you have a business account, you don't have to have 5,000 followers to be able to put products in the TikTok shop. You can just do it with whatever follower account you have. So it was just kind of figuring that out. Um, Figuring out how to actually log into TikTok Shop Seller Center because that took forever. You had to have your personal account linked to your business account and then you nest it over and it like reflects all this info. And if you don't have one, you can't log into the other. It's like a whole thing. It took me months to actually like kind of figure out where the like strings were actually going to that, and not just being like this like magic like experience where I'm like, okay, and then I click I snap 3 times, I turn around 3 times in a circle, and I press enter, and somehow I'm in my account. Like, you know what I mean? Trying to figure out what the actual recipe was took forever, and getting content that took forever. Getting good at content took a long time. I was not very photogenic, still not very photogenic. I didn't want to put much. I appreciate it. Hell yeah, bro, I appreciate that. Hey, I'll take that. I'll take that. That sounds fun. Those are some cool folks. Okay, okay, okay. Sure. Hell yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It took me a long time to kind of get all of this kind of figured out. I very much learned how to do all of my hair stuff on my own. And it took a long time. I didn't really start growing my hair out till COVID. So it took me a little minute. It took me a little minute to kind of figure it all out. Talking about comedian Josh Johnson, right? Yeah, Josh went to my high school. Josh went to my high school. I know Josh. Josh was he was a senior when I was in like 7th or 8th grade. He had a big afro back then. He just used to wear it like, yeah, big afro, yeah. Oh yeah, no, it was so funny, bro. He definitely he was always the comedian guy. Like, he would do Shine Fest, which was like our talent show every year. He always did stand up. He always crushed it. He always won. Um, the dude was talented. People knew he was going places, even if they didn't really want to admit it at the time. But yeah, no, but yeah, Josh had to get a queen to fix that hair up, my boy. Yeah, he had to get told a few things. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's so funny, bro, because like I definitely had like I used to rock braids when I was still trying to get it grown out, and I definitely used to wear a ponytail with a one braid down the side. Just yes, I used to do the same thing, ponytail in the back, got the one down here. I used to rock the same thing. So that's apparently that's just the Alexandria, Louisiana special. Apparently, that's just how we be rocking where we from. Apparently. I do too. This is definitely my vibe. I can cut my hair to this level too. Like, I'm just shaving my sides, giving me like like a slight fade on the sides and back. That's easy. I can do that. And yeah, it makes it easy. So I think short list, the one that you're going to see in issue two is the band. At an HBCU and in the Black community, the band, the marching band culture is extremely important. I would argue more people care about the Battle of the Bands at halftime than they do about the game at most HBCU football games, and it's because those bands are just legendary. Like they have brass sections that and drums that could just like, take you out your body with how like incredible the sound is. Like it feels like it's just lifting you about your body. And I wanted to kind of talk about how kind of like a how much like a spiritual moment it is to get to go and experience an HBCU halftime show, and to be a part of that crowd and like what it feels like to, get to do, essentially get to see what band culture is, get to know what some of the more important bands within the HBCU hierarchy is. Like in issue two, Gibbs Green is having a home game against the Coastal University. I'm sorry, against Coastal University, excuse me. And Coastal University is a nod to Southern University. And their band is so legendary that they have their own name, and it is the Human Jukebox because they are so good that they sound like a jukebox. Um, and they are that good. Like I'm gonna be honest, it's insane how good Southern is. And I wanted to put that in a book. So, we're getting to see a halftime performance from like the Coastal University Human Sound Machine, right? Like I wanted to put that into this book. I wanted to showcase um how much like there's difference and nuance between these things, and like there's like, yeah, I went to LSU and like Tiger Band's important, right? I would argue any HBCU band is clapping Tiger Band's cheeks. I don't care what people think, it's the truth. I think St. Aug could beat their asses. I'm gonna be for real, they're a high school. That's just how much more serious we take this, and it's not disrespectful, it's just levels to it. Oh, can you hear me? All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, yeah. So like, there's levels to it, and I wanted to showcase that when we get to do our own thing, and we have like, there's like a humongous talent of musicians within our Saturdays at a local HBCU, and I wanted to showcase what that looks like. So you're getting to see that. You're getting to see the tailgating culture that's associated with it too. We're tailgating before the game. We're getting to see some of like what that looks like for John and Danita because they're trying to get their stuff done while everybody's trying to have a good time. So that's a little bit hard. Um, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I think that we'll get to see a lot there, and that's definitely on the short list for what's coming up next. But like everything, right, we're gonna find a way to make sure that it really serves the narrative. And for this issue, I would argue that the Battle of the Bands, it's more than just us getting to put it in a comic. We're definitely using it as like we're using it as our midpoint. It's very, very important for this issue. So I hope that everyone gets to really understand like the importance of it and just how much like it's kind of layering in what we're trying to build for this story. Yeah. Okay. You will see you'll see some stuff. You'll see some. You're definitely gonna see the drum line. You're gonna see a drum major. You're gonna get to see all. You're gonna get to see all of that. So yeah, I would say a little bit, as much as you can showcase on the page. So the goal is we want to, since we made more than we were expecting, we're going to try and use whatever surplus we got left to pay Che for the next issue. We're going to use that to just kind of get things started. So that way we can try to have another Kickstarter somewhere within the beginning of next year. That's the plan. We'll see if it actually happens. Knowing me, oh, all of it's written. I've written up to issue 7 so far, out of the 9. I'm waiting to write the last 2 issues just to give me space to layer in stuff. I know what the finale is going to be. It's already been like outlined. I just want to make sure that like I've like put all the foreshadowing elements and everything. I want to make sure it actually feels like it's an earned finale and not just a it's the last episode finale. So no, not at all, not at all. Yes. Yeah, yeah, that was awesome. So I will have some in-person stuff planned for later on in the year. I don't have any announcements just yet because I need to finalize things, but I'm hoping to do something cool later on in the year, like around October, if it happens. We'll see if it happens. But if it could happen, it'd be super cool. But I'll make announcements about that hopefully soon enough if it can. But that would Oh yeah, that would be that would be where we would want to definitely do things. Like Ash Avenue and Tempe, we definitely it's going to be the first place if we whenever we do decide to do one. I already talked to Drew about it. I told him if I'm going to do something in person for this issue first, it's definitely going to be him. So, um, really excited about that. He's such a great store owner. If you are in and around Tempe, Arizona, near ASU's campus, definitely check out Ash Avenue Comics. They have a really great selection. You can actually find Scion in there. They sell us. And it's gonna we're gonna try and make we're not done yet. We're not done yet at all. And we're going to keep promoting this book, keep kind of making each part of its release its own special moment. Right now we're in that, that pre-order phase, but whenever the book is physically here, you best believe I'm gonna be making content left and right telling people about it and trying to get into stores, trying to hopefully get them to take it. So we're gonna be working. We're gonna be working. Yes, there is. Yes. Yeah, it's wholesale price. Half the you get 10 books, 5 of five of sign number one, 5 of sign number 2. So that way you can have if people want to buy both, you can. They're at half price, and they also come with a store poster. I forgot to put that on the Kickstarter, but they actually come with a free poster that we have exclusive to store owners. So that way you can like tell people that you have Scion. So it would be definitely asking your local retailer to buy a retailer bundle, or just having them reach out to me personally because these wholesale prices exist. This bundle exists outside of this Kickstarter. It's just another way for you to be able to grab it easily if you are here. But if you email me personally at crimsonsleeperstudios@gmail.com, I will gladly get whatever wholesale order you'd like. Wholesale is always at half price, and we are willing to do on consignment, excuse me, on commission, lol, on consignment up to 5 issues. So feel free, test us out, see how things work. If it doesn't, we'll just come and grab the product back, no harm, no foul. And that goes for wherever, whenever, and wherever. We can ship to you all across the U.S. So if you want to have Scion in your store, we have you on lock. That'd be awesome. No, I had a great time. I had a great time. This is a great interview. A good stream too. Honestly, it's fun to do free form streams, man, where you just get a little bit of extra time. You can just you can spread your wings a little bit, talk about stuff, go on tangents. I love that. I'm glad we got to do this during the middle of the day too, because if I had done it later after I had to go pick up my girlfriend, I know it's probably way too late in the day for you. So I appreciate you. All right, well, do you game? Like, do you play on computer? Do you play PC? Do you play PC? Do you play on PC? Do you play Rivals? Do you play Overwatch? Yeah. Okay, okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I saw that reveal looked kinda crazy too, bro. He's bouncing the beam off the wall, bro. That looks hard. That looks hard for sure. If I can grab a copy of that, definitely hit me up. I'm probably gonna be super trash, but I can get better. I can get better. My beautiful thing about gaming is that if I'm bad, like super bad, oh, I'm gonna lock into a different degree and like it becomes my life. So yeah, no, I Okay, so that I'd like to recommend. I mean, so like I feel like I'm a little behind on stuff, but I guess personally, what I personally like, I'll say what I personally like. Because I was very blown away by Don Don's killing it. Yeah, Don Don's crazy, bro. And like Don Don's a big inspiration for Che for Scion. Because like I was whenever we were kind of describing like how we wanted to represent a difference in perspective between like real life and like spirit world, he was kind of telling me about how like the otherworldly like alien creatures in Don to Don have like this kind of like different art style because they're just like they're inconceivable. Like you just they're not from this world. And like I was just like, yes, that's literally like yes. I went and read Don to Don, went and watched the show. I was like, oh, this is peak. This is peak as hell. So I've been watching obviously that. I've been getting into Jujutsu Kaisen finally because I saw like my buddy made me watch an animation and I was like, oh, they throwing hands in like parking garages and they're doing like third person like peel back wide screens. Like, oh no, I gotta watch this. Like, what in the hell? Like, so I've been watching that because the hands are crazy. So, ooh. Yeah, okay, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, I know about Dr. Stone. Yeah, Dr. Stone's good. Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, yeah. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Nice. That's awesome. Mm-mm, nuh-uh. That's awesome. Sure. Ooh, that's awesome. That sounds cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is it's like if it's like Solange and Jay Z, but but the same gender. It's gonna be a fight in the elevator, y'all. It's gonna be a fight in the elevator. Ooh, okay. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. Hmm. Okay, so that's a good question. Um, so you could do a lot of different things. Um, I think that I would lean in one of three different environments. I think that, and I'll go in order of like what I'd be happiest with execution wise. I think that like in the lowest order, like the first one on the list, I would be happy with something that's kind of similar to like Mortal Kombat, like story mode, like Mortal Kombat story mode, where you get to have a versus combat. You have versus combat mode and other stuff too, but it would be like you playing as a particular character through the story and then progressing things and then like maybe there are fights that pop up. Now, I would want it to be more than just fights. I'd want there to be um I guess actually instead of Mortal Kombat, a better way to think about that would be like Spider-Man. Like like PlayStation Spider-Man. That'd probably be the better way to think about it. Or like yeah, exactly. Like where you have clear moments where you have to do story stuff, you have to like go and like do puzzles or things like that. But then there are clear boss fights, clear moments where you have to go beat somebody up, right? So that would probably be like what I would want. I won't even say lowest order. I would say that that'd be like a really good like well-rounded. If like I could only do one game and that's what it is, and it's like AAA put a bunch of money into it, that's what I would say I'd want. But if I was being a little bit more true to what the story is, I think something more similar to like Life is Strange or like The Wolf Among Us would be a lot better. Like a point and click story game, that would be a lot better because we could get. I think utilizing powers, different things like that would be a lot better. It would just be about, I would want there to still be boss fights. I'd want there to still be moments where you could go and fight. So finding a way to maybe figure out how to make that happen would be cool. But like, being able to unfold the world and have it tell the story like in that like even The Walking Dead, like that's also similar. That's what I think this would like really, yeah, exactly, a Telltale type game. That's where this would really sing. Like Dispatch, like giving this the Dispatch type treatment, that would be cool too. If we could find some mini game within the game to kind of satisfy the fight conditions and things like that. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. So yeah, I think that that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see some sort of like Telltale type game, narrative, point and click. Expedition is such a great game. That's such an amazing game. Uh, ooh, yeah, that'd be cool. Wait. Not to cut you off, not to cut you off, dude. We are asleep at the wheel, dude. This needs to be like Persona. What are we doing? Day and night, literally school during the day, supernatural stuff at night. What are we doing? It needs to be like Persona. It needs to be like Persona. Yeah, yeah, Persona 3, Persona 3. Like that's how you, that era. Yeah. You the vibe, you the vibe. Yeah, yeah. I'd be down for that. We gonna make something happen. Make something happen. Yeah. Try to go $100,000. We make a video game. right? That'd be sick. That'd be sick. Hey, hey, that gives me some time. That gives me some time. That gives me some time. I can work. I can work. All right. Okay. Manifest things. Mhm. That could be tough. That could be tough. That could be tough. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I can do that. So give me 1 second. Ah, hey, that makes it easy. That makes it easy for me. Ooh, that'd be hard. That'd be hard. But I'd have to. That'd be like limited edition. I gotta do like special run of those. Yeah, that's gonna be like special for that. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Ah, yeah. If you don't want to spoil things, just yeah. If you don't want to spoil, but you can kind of see. You can kind of see. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I will definitely come up with if we get there, I'll come up with something else. But I'm gonna have to. I gotta talk with my editor. You know, run it. We got prototype. Do cost analysis. But yeah, if we can make it happen, we're gonna make it happen. If I can make it happen, I will try. I will definitely try. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Awesome. Man, no, you gotta make it happen now. We got the good idea. We gotta make it happen. Yeah, no, hey, we got beta tests, man. You best believe I'm sending you a copy. Best believe. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, okay, okay. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Oh yeah, I did hear about that. I did hear about that. I saw Toph. So yeah, I'm about to check that out. I'm about to check that out. Ooh, Yoshi. Okay, okay, okay. Like 7 foot tall. She need to play for the different. She need to play for the Golden State Warriors. Like, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.